Hi Shizuka, do you remember me? You said you'll continue your explanation about living organisms.
Hi Dora, of course I remember. I had discussed about the differences between macro world and nano world in the previous video, and we will know the differences between living organisms like fish and bacterium and how they are moving.
It will be the same, isn't it?
No, it's different because they're feeling a different way. In nano world, water will be in a low viscosity, so the flow will be turbulent. Meanwhile, in macro world, water will be in high viscosity, so the flow will be laminar.
Why it could be that happen, but they are swimming in the same fluid.
It could be explained mathematically. This difference is affected from the different value of Reynolds, where A is the surface area between the fish or bacteria. If or since the surface area between them has a big gap, so it will be affected the Reynolds value. These differences between inertia and friction forces will also affect the way of movement between bacteria and fish. So, from this, we could also know in macro will apply.
So now I know how bacteria swim.
Yeah, friction force in nano world is really important. It has a big effect. But if we go back again to the macro world, we know that friction force will affect the efficiency of machine.
Efficiency machine? Why would you do that? Isn't energy always conserved?
Well, let's see this idea. Free energy transduction is less efficient when it proceeds by uncontrolled release of a big constraint. It's most efficient when it proceeds by incremental, controlled release of many small constraints.
And how am I supposed to understand that?
Well, know that the system can achieve their maximum efficiency when it took tiny steps. Efficiency will be 100% when the work done and free energy are equal, so the work done by the machine must equal to the free energy stored in the machine. In some other situations, free energy stayed with entropic force.
Entropic force? You have stated about entropy earlier. Is it the same?
Well, you're right. We'll continue from second law. As we know, there is no system which against the second law of thermodynamics, so entropy will always exists. Back in previous figure, if the system is an isolated system, the system's temperature and total energy will be constant. Therefore, the internal energy of the system is also constant. Based on this equation, the entropy of an isolated system will always increase and free energy decrease due to the expansion of molecules, which leads to the system can resist force from the waste. The molecule's expansion is caused by entropic force. Entropic force is proportional to the derivative of free energy to length. Entropic force principle tells us how cell membrane can push fluids against pressure gradients such as using osmotic pressure.
Really? How would you explain why cells membranes are able to push fluid against a pressure gradient?
Let's see this figure. Entropic force is needed to resist the piston movement and raise the wicks, but entropic force is produced by sacrifice sugar's order. The system uses heat from outside to increase the entropy of sugar, so the sugar molecules will expand making sugar solution, and the water will move across the membrane towards sugar solution and push piston to the right so the system can lift up the load. This mechanism is using osmotic pressure. Osmotic force arises from the rectification of Brownian motion, where the molecule's movement produces force towards membrane, therefore cell can push fluids against pressure gradient. In low Reynolds number, friction force is dominant over inertia force, so every molecule uses viscous drag from the fluid and produce density force proportional to the fluid's pressure gradient.
Hmm,
Hi, what happened, Dora?
I just don't understand. What about we see deeper pack in cell or any molecular machines? How do you describe the physical method that molecular machines use to extract useful work?
We'll see mechanism related to the free energy much deeper in molecular machine. The useful work from these molecular machines is not always in form of mechanic, but rather be chemical synthetic. Many different molecules in one molecular machine will enable many chemistry reactions. And to reach into these chemical reactions, it needs chemical potential or the potential of chemical reaction to be happened. This chemical potential's formula is
So we only need chemical potential to make chemical reaction happen.
No, to make these chemical reactions happen, it also needs entropic force that will push the conversion from one type to another, even the chemical energy restored. Entropic force joins in to get to chemical equilibrium. Chemical equilibrium is the point where the chemical forces balance. This chemical equilibrium happened when the net of all the driving forces, including chemical ones, is zero. Soon, we'll find Gibbs, which gives universal criterion for the direction of chemical reaction. Gibbs' general equation is
Wow, you are like a walking book, but after all those basic things you have told me, how will we apply this knowledge?
Well, for example, let's analyze novel Plague by Michael Crichton.
Wow, it looks creepy.
It's cool actually. There is advanced medical imaging, or AMI. It can go inside your body and send the image to outer body.
Really? How it works?
In AMI technology, it is used molecule-sized, very tiny, zero point 0.1 nanoinches. It is because indeed the technology made for being used in molecular level, so of course AMI has different movement if it is compared with movement in macro world like our previous conversation. Therefore, the locomotor used on AMI, called microtubules, acts as whip, and it can generate a movement because the motion of the whip will cause the viscous friction coefficient for motion of rod parallel to its axis is smaller than the one for perpendicular motion.
Cool.
And also, AMI will flock together and form a meta shape when they are injected into the bloodstreams caused by the temperature increase. It is suitable that temperature increase will enhance microtubules formation of AMI through hydrophobic interaction when it is in the bloodstreams because the bloodstream acts as a fluid and its component is dominated by water.
Wow, you're like the real MVP, Shizuka. Thank you so much for all the knowledge and explanation. I hope I won't meet you again next year.
You're welcome, Doraemon. Have a safe trip to the future, okay?